anyway, tonight what I'm going to do, or today, is talking about contouring the mature face, which I have. So, and a lot of us do. So we have special, things we need to take into consideration when we contour. Now you will see people doing contouring before they apply their base. I prefer to do it after. I just feel like I watch everyone doing all the contouring and highlighting, then they cover it up with their foundation, and to me there's just a little too much room for error, and then they're like, well, if you need to go back over your contouring, you can use a contouring powder. I don't want to do that. That's a third step. And while I love makeup, I'm not here to put on a mask. I don't want to pile on the makeup, especially as you mature. Less is more. You want it to look realistic. You don't want to pack it on, okay? So I already put on my foundation, and I use this beautiful wax-based foundation from Limelight. Who else? And I have my highlighting and my contouring right in here on my palette, which I love because I've got everything for my face right here in this palette. So I put on my foundation and I did do my eyebrows. So we're going to do the highlighting first. Now the other thing is, because I've already applied my foundation, I don't have to go crazy with the concealer. I'm going to just go in and highlight the center of my forehead. Just a little. Just need a little because you're just going to work this in now. We're not going to be covering it up with anything. Also, above your eyebrows, it helps lift. And when you get past a certain age, you want to lift everything as much as you can. So, again, because we're going to blend this in, we're just going to use very light application. We're just going to draw just a light line. Now, this is a personal thing. I get red here. A lot of people do. What is it about between the eyebrows? My mother gets that too. I thought it was just, like a family thing, but apparently that happens a lot. So I'm going to highlight just very lightly here. And I am going to highlight down the center of my nose. My nose, like everybody else's, has continued to grow when everything else stopped growing. So I'm going to highlight down the center of my nose. Now, for your eyes, more mature women should tend to highlight right here and kind of stay off the bags underneath your eyes. So you're going to come in. I like to come in between my eyes because I feel like my eyes are a little close set. I think this is probably good for everybody. It just kind of opens up your eye a little bit more to bring it in right here. Bring it out. Okay, you can do that on both sides. So right in here along your nose, kind of. Put a little more. Now, this is a part that bothers me about my face. This lobe right here, something low. I don't know the technical thing for it, but this line right here on my face, I don't like it. So you're going to come from here around your nose, and I tend to get red there. And then you're going to come right down here. And remember, we're going to blend this in so you don't, we're going to blend it into our foundation. So you don't need a lot. Just a little. Okay, you're going to take that right down. I look better just like that already. Now, if you have these, which I do, these little folds here, mostly because I tend to sleep on my face. That is so bad. But I can't tell you how many mornings I wake up, especially if I'm really tired. I wake up like this. And I'm like, my face, wrinkles. I wake up freaking out. Oh, God. So I'm going to put some in here. And a lot of us have this, or the beginning of it. Some worse than others. So you're just going to put a little there. Okay, where else are we going with this? Okay, as far as your cheekbones, to lighten up under the eye area while avoiding the bags, we are going to apply it to the top of our cheekbones and bring it up. Kind of just right around your eye like a half circle or a backwards C. So we're going to do the same here. And I know this seems like a lot, but everyone's face is different. Some of you may not need to come down here or not feel the need to do around the eyes. I'm just trying to cover the bases as far as older, mature skin goes. Okay, so that's it. Now, I like to pull in, I like to highlight the center of my chin. I like to try to slim my face. So highlighting towards the center, just like when you wear a dress with something down the center of it, tends to slim your face. So if you have a long face or a big chin or a jutting chin, you don't want to highlight it. Me, I don't have much of a chin. I don't have much of a forehead either. So I like to just put a little highlight there. And I'm going to add a little bit more here. Okay, so next we're going to do the contouring. And there's a lot of videos on contouring, and they got the contour all over the place. And as you age though, depending on how you age and, if you gain weight or don't gain weight, very often your face becomes a little more gaunt. So you may be using more highlighter in the end than contour, because the last thing you want to do is if you're very thin and your face starts to show a little gauntness, you don't want to hollow those cheeks out anymore. You want it maybe to look a little fuller and more youthful. Whereas somebody like me is trying to slim my face down. So yeah, I'm going for the contour. I'm going to go for that contour. All right, so to contour your face, we're going to do the cheekbones. Now you're going to start right here at the top of your ear, and you can kind of feel where your cheekbone is if you roll your brush, or you just press your finger in there. I got to really press because I have no cheekbones. Uh-oh, what did I just get? Look how quickly my skin turns red when I fool around with it. So I'm going to just draw this line right here. I'm not going to come down too far towards the center of my face. None of that, overdoing it there. And I'm going to, at the top of my, same thing over here. Just going to come down about halfway down my cheek. Okay. I am going to contour my nose because it's getting bigger every day. Not the only thing getting bigger every day, but it's getting bigger every day. Oh, what nature does. So, that might be a little much, but I'll just blend it. Okay, where else? Now, if you have a large forehead, which probably means you're smarter than me if you do, not much room up here, you're going to contour here, to kind of bring your forehead down, or you might, contour a little bit here to slim out your face. Okay. I don't really need to do I just have like no forehead, so I don't want to do too much of that. Okay. And that is it. You might want to contour a little bit under your lip. Makes your lip jut out a little bit more. And now we're just going to blend that in. So we're going to start by blending in the highlight. I've got my blending bud a little on the wet side here. I'm going to remove some of that moisture. My little blending bud buddy has been taking quite a beating. He's cracking and everything else, but he still does the job. So I like to use the top of my blender for my highlight. That way I don't mix them and muddy them. And see, that's just the tiniest bit right there. And you just dab. I don't like to rub. I don't like to rub and swirl my foundation or contour around my face, because if you have any rough patches or any dry skin, you really want a smooth finish. And to me, to dab it on creates more of a smoother finish than just, moving it all around. Plus, you don't want to move around any highlighting or contouring you've done. All right, so I'm just going to dab away at this contour the highlight on top of my eyebrows. And come right down my cheekbone. And if you're going to apply any highlighter, you would do the same thing, high up on the cheekbone. Make sure not to get them in any fine lines, but high up as possible on the cheekbone. Okay, I'm going to come in here. Try not to touch that contour on my nose. I might just stick my finger in here a little bit, just because I don't want to. Okay. I'm going to come right down And just dab it in, you know, just dab it in. Bounce it off your face. And that softens. Look how much that softens that line. I hate that line. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, then I've got a little highlight on my chin. And then I'm just going to do the same thing here. Not good with my left hand. And like I said, I really prefer doing that. I feel like I have a little more control of exactly where my contour and highlighting goes, and I can keep it right there when I dab, rather than putting it and then applying foundation over it and hoping everything stays where it is and you can still see it, still noticeable. So I'm going to go in here. Again, I'm going to just use my finger right here. And then I'm going to come over here and start dabbing away at this. Just until I get it blended in. And it should be very subtle. You don't want to see any obvious lines. Where else did I highlight? Did I highlight anywhere else? I think that's it. Down my nose, but I'll do that just with the tip of the blender. Okay. All right, I believe I have that blended in. I'm going to put a little more concealer right under my eyes. Now, I mean not concealer, I'm sorry, foundation. Actually, I think that works pretty good. I usually put my light concealer under my eyes. I'll have to like wear this today and see how I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to blend in. Now that I've got the light blended in, I'm going to blend in and see how that creates kind of, it's almost like you don't need a highlighter when you do this on your cheeks. So now I'm going to blend in the contour, and I've got contour pretty much, well, I did put a little here. Just for an example, but I certainly don't need to contour this non-existent forehead. All right, so now you're going to do this. And you don't, when you do bounce this, you don't want to bring it down. You want to keep it where it is and just kind of like push up a little as you bounce it. And if you want to round out your cheeks more, you can like bring it in a little. I don't have any cheekbones. That's hard for me to do because I just don't have any cheekbones as a guideline. I really don't. So I'm just going to stick with this. But if you were to have nice jut out cheekbones, you could kind of work that contour down and up to create more of an apple, a more pronounced apple. And see how subtle that is? Just subtle. Oh, I know where. You know what? I forgot to contour a big problem area. I'm sorry. The jaw. Oh boy. Now you can, this side of my face is so much easier, I guess, for me to see. Now your jaw, see, I don't know, some women have, like I have, this little, are these called jowls? Oh gosh. This right here kind of sagging down a little. You want a nice straight jaw line. You can draw one on. So you're going to go like this. And I'm just doing it very lightly. Okay, so you want to stay like under. And right here you want to come up a little into that. Right into that area. That sags down a little. So you can create that. That line. So you're going to come down here. And you're just going to bring that right here where I come down a little, just going to bring a little bit of that contour up a little to hide that. Sorry, I missed that. That's my, like, well, I don't know, these bother me too. Okay, and then you're just going to blend that in and give yourself a straighter jawline and minimize that area that kind of comes down on you. And then, of course, you could contour more underneath here to diminish any chin or chins you might have down there. But when you contour, you know, basically what you have to remember is, oops, contouring, the dark contour recedes. It makes, you know, it makes anything on your face recede or you know, deepen. And the highlight brings forward or sticks out any, you know, wherever you put it. So you have to look at your face and, you know, let's face it, even the most beautiful women, they'll look at their face and there's something they don't like. Okay, you don't like your double chin, or you don't like this. So what you want to make look plumper, that's where you would put the highlight. Where you want to diminish or bring back or recede, that's where you're going to put the contour. Everyone's face is a little different, but you do get the idea. Oh, my nose. Going to do the nose. The nose, this ever-growing nose. And everybody's nose is a little different. You might have a flat spot, you might have a little crooked area, but you can work wonders with contour and highlighter. And I love the way the contour makes my nose looks a lot smaller, in my opinion. Okay, and that's it. And I haven't used a lot of makeup. You know, just a little thin line here and there and just lightly blend it in. So that is the contouring and the highlighting. And just one more thing I learned. Now, I'm guilty of this. I've often said when you're putting on your blush, you want to smile, right? The problem with a mature face is sometimes where you put on the apple, you know, when you're smiling, and when you lower it, it's a lot lower than you think it's going to be. So don't smile, because you might apply it, and when you stop smiling, your face drops a little, maybe a little more than a younger person's might. So, and I also learned that you don't want to bring the blush too close to the center of your face, because most skin issues or problems or aging problems are really really concentrated at the center of your face. I mean, not for everybody, but you know, like the lobes and the bags and all that. So you want to stay away from that. So you want to maybe come back a little further than the apples, or, you know, right here. And bring it back. And bring it up, unless you have a very thin face, because bringing it up will just thin out the face more. But you just want to back and up. If you have a very thin face, you want to come straight back. I think that looks really good, if I do say so myself. Once you know how to contour and highlight your own face, you do it like that, right? And you don't have to do it all the time, but there might be certain occasions where you want to look extra good, or maybe you're having photographs taken. You want to look your absolute best, right? So you're going to take an extra 5-10 minutes to contour, and I think it makes a difference. So I'm going to finish putting on my face. I'm going out tonight, and I'm actually going to have dinner with a Facebook friend of mine that I've never met before. This will be my 3rd time meeting a Facebook friend. I'm really excited. But just wanted to come on here quickly and show you some contouring and highlighting tricks for the mature face.